Do cheaper student quality acrylic paints work well with gel plates? Let's find out the pros and cons today. I'm going to be using Mont Marte paints, which came in a set of 48. Let's see how they work out. Let's start with laying out a background in these two lovely shades of blue and green. I'm using a second plate to clean my brayer. Remember, you should only consider these paints if you're not concerned with having light fast paints and just want to go with cheaper paints for experimentation. They're not as pleasant to spread on the gel plate as the more expensive ones, but if you're on a budget, they work fine, especially for the background layer. I forgot to cut the paper off the roll, hence why you see me struggle to quickly put it on and then cut it after. This is a really nice background. So far, so good. For our second layer, let's use this gorgeous magenta color. Add some stencils and some mark making with stamps. And of course, my favorite, bubble wrap for additional layers. It is important to note that some acrylic paints are opaque while others are translucent. With this Mont Marte set, around 60 to 70% of the 48 paints are translucent. With more expensive paints, since they are pigmented enough, they keep their color but are also somewhat see-through so you can see the layer under them. These cheaper paints are not pigmented enough, so when you layer them and especially layer using the translucent color, they don't show that well and sometimes you have to really look hard to see them. And as you can see, the vibrancy of the magenta is gone since this was a translucent color. So you have to be prepared to not have the colors show up as saturated as they are right out of the tube once you layer them because they are not pigmented enough. Let's pull up the ghost print on another sheet. I'm going to be using yellow for the next layer. I want you to note how bright this color is. It is also a translucent color. Let's use some stencils on it. Next, I use a comb to make some marks. I should have remembered to do that before laying down the stencils. It would have been easier to cover the area. Now the stencil is getting in the way, but I still managed to get some of the lines in. What do you think? I personally can't even see the stencil shape properly. The yellow is hardly visible and merged with the background. In real life, it looks even worse. But I'm going to see if this print can be saved. But let's first put a layer of pink on the ghost print so we can clear the plate and also get another print out of this. As expected, the yellow is hardly visible on the pink. I decide to add some white from Dale and Rowney's graduate series. I think this is the student grade, but even the student grade is way better. It mixes in with the pink that is already there on the plate, and we end up getting a very pale pink. Once again, after I finished adding the stencils, I remember to add the marks. I managed to get some pretty polka dots using the Lego base. See the difference that made? Just because we added a bit of the more pigmented paint, the color is now showing on top of the other layers and also helping the earlier layers pop a bit. Let's add some stencils after adding the blue paint. I try to add a texture and I really don't like the first one, so I try another. I used the earlier print we made in pink to pick up the ghost print, and thankfully the blue color actually shows up and is visible, so some success there. I'm still not done with the original print. I want to add one more pigmented layer of white. What do you think? Do you prefer it with or without this last layer? I forgot to show you the result, but we will come back to that at the end of the video, so don't worry, you will get to see it. Now, this is one situation where the translucent yellow actually comes in handy. I use it to cover the ghost print and then I place our blueprint directly over it. With a more pigmented color, I would have had a much darker layer of yellow, which would have covered the whole thing. But here it has changed into a blue-green shade, and I also managed to cover the empty circular areas which were not filled with paint earlier with yellow. Here are the three prints that we made today, mainly using Mont Marte paints and some white from Dale Rowney graduate series. Watch my mark making video which uses System 3 paints for comparison. I've added the link in the description below. And you will be able to see how saturated those colors are, and you will see a visible difference when they are layered. Now here's the bonus part for you. I am going to take these three papers and a couple more I made earlier and turn it into collage using this canvas pad. I am not going to be talking too much throughout this, and I've doubled the speed so you can just enjoy watching the process without it being too slow. I'm going to quickly let you know the steps and let you watch in peace after that. I start by cutting the extra edges of the paper so I don't get any stray white areas that I don't want. Then I cut these out into small pieces and try rough layouts. Fun fact, I almost never follow the plan, but it still helps with the planning. The next step will be to use Liquitex matte gel medium to stick the papers. I'll be putting a nice even layer on the canvas sheet and then putting some on top of the paper. At the end, I will cut off the extra paper hanging from the edges. If you want to see me make a collage with more details, watch my other video called From Gel Prints to Collage. I've added the link in the description. And once you reach the end of this video, please let me know in comments below if you think I should frame this collage as is or add something extra on top. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on all notifications if you don't want to miss out future videos. I have some really good ones coming. You don't want to miss out my craft haul from my vacation to Japan. I'll be sharing that once I get back. And this means you will get to see so many new gel prints with loads of new supplies to work with and reviews and techniques you don't want to miss. Keep watching till the end. I'll see you in the next video.